COVID-19 recovery, helping Hoosiers recover financially, physically, mentally, and socially through services provided by Community Action of Greater Indianapolis. Services include energy assistance, child care, family support, education, training programs, transitional housing, and food assistance. COVID-19 recovery.
Hi, I'm Terrence White of Community Action of Greater Indianapolis.
And I'm Kelly Vaughn from WHMB TV 40, and we want to welcome you to COVID-19 recovery. And we're talking about recovering from this pandemic. And of course, vaccinations are at the top of our minds, right, Terrence? And we want to remind folks to get your vaccination, and you can do that, I believe, one way, calling 211.
211, or go to Our Shot. What is it?
Ourshot.in.gov. Yeah. Okay, so, and there you can find registration sites and you can actually register there.
Exactly.
So there's no excuse for getting your vaccination. I know a lot of you have hesitations and fears, but do it. Do it. Do it. It is so important. And get that shot. Again, ourshot.in.gov. We have a very special guest with us today. I was going to say in the studio, but actually he's coming to us from via Zoom, and he is Dr. James Anthony Jackson, and he is the senior pastor of New Beginnings Fellowship Church here in Indianapolis. Hello, Pastor Jackson.
Hello, Karen. Terrence, how are you guys?
Doing well, doing well.
Hey, we have our, I have my vaccination. Have you, do you?
I've had both of my
Both
shots.
of them now, yeah. So we have been vaccinated. What about you, Pastor Jackson?
I have. My wife and I, we've had probably about 3 weeks ago, we had our second shot and all. So we are, as they would say, fully vaccinated. So.
Amen. Amen to that. So, well, before we start talking about COVID-19 and the impact on ministries, tell us a little bit about New Beginnings Church.
Well, New Beginnings Fellowship Church, we're located on the far east side of Indianapolis. They're right at the corner of 21st and German Church Road, where God has allowed us to really experience some amazing blessings. We opened the doors in 2004, so we're celebrating 17 years of existence. We have probably about maybe 8,000 on the roll now.
Wow.
2 locations, because we have a service on the west side, and we have 4 worship services on Sunday, 6 throughout the week, because we have 2 on Thursdays. It was God has been good to us, but we are speaking prior to COVID.
Okay, so obviously things have changed. The world has changed. So how did COVID-19 impact your ministry?
Well, I mean, when we had to first come to grip with the fact that that we were going to have to maintain some level of safety and precaution, and following CDC guidelines, we had to close our doors for this season. That hit us. It hit us hard, and it hit us in a way where I've come to understand about New Beginnings is it's been a safe haven. It's been a safe haven for us. It has been a wonderful place of fellowship and koinonia for so many of us. And so for those doors to close, to keep people safe, but yet and still it had a major effect, because some people were actually saying those Sunday mornings were pretty much helping them maintain their sanity. So that there has been it's been a hit for us, and we're still rough because we're affectionate people. We love fellowship, we love hugs, we love the meet and greets, and to have those moments where we've had to put a pause on that, it's been rough for us.
So when you said it hit you hard, hit your congregation hard, can you elaborate on that a little bit for us?
Yeah, I mean, Terrence, and let me say this. I would say for us, we have been extremely blessed. I have to say that we've been extremely blessed when I talk about hitting hard, I'm more so mentioning the emotional, the relational aspect of our ministry. One of the things that we had an opportunity to do, and that was probably a good maybe year, 2 years prior to COVID, was to make sure that we try our best to keep our congregants connected from a standpoint of technology, participating from a technological standpoint, giving and sharing, and from a technological standpoint. So a lot of our things that we received as far as gifts and offerings was more so they gave it from a technological standpoint. So they gave it via online or from our website or our app. And also because we had been pushing that prior to COVID, we can truly be able to say that we've been blessed on that end from a financial standpoint, because people have literally stepped up in ways that it literally it shocked me. It did. I must say that we have been extremely blessed because people have been giving on that. When I talk about how it's hit us hard, I would definitely just say we miss each other. We miss being around each other. We miss being able to hug. We miss the moments of watching children grow up. We have members who've gotten married in this season, who've had children in the season, and I haven't gotten a chance to touch them, and those are things that really make up a major part of the DNA and thread of our ministry. And because we haven't been able to do that, we can say, right, that's where I mean when I say it's been hard for us.
So with some of the, what you just mentioned, some of the emotional stress, mental, social stress, and even the physical stress of the pandemic, how have you guys been dealing with it? Like, how you guys deal with all of the stress?
Yeah, and I would say we're trying to deal with it the best we can. We have our what we call our grief share ministry, where we are right now really putting a lot of energy and effort in making sure that we minister to those that are grieving, because I can say that it hit us hard, because I guess with the size of our congregation, there are members and people who are family members of our congregants who were hit by this virus. Many who have passed, and it has left a big hole in a lot of what we in our ministry, because what we do as far as being emotionally connected and having those moments, can now try to imagine we're accustomed to hugging people on happy days, and then we can't hug them now, even when they're grieving. So those kind of moments have been hard for us. It's been hard.
So, Pastor, what's the plan for the future in terms of recovering? And also, are you back in service yet?
No, currently we're still offering our worship services via online, and we're still working on that end of making sure that, because I believe that because of the size of our congregation, that we don't have the advantage of coming back. And it's not just the size, because there are probably some congregations that probably have ministries that are probably our size or even greater that may have come back. I don't know. A lot of them, and the ones that I do know that we kind of even in size, have been from our Caucasian brothers and from that community. And so one of the things I share with us is not just our size, but our culture, how we express ourselves in our worship services is just not trying to be as responsible as I can as a leader. It just wouldn't be feasible, it wouldn't be safe for our people because of the level of expression that we give in our culture and how we express in our praise and our worship. It just wouldn't be wise for us to do it now. Now, we have been having meetings as of late to talk about what the coming back together and reuniting and joining in again, congregating again in the sanctuary, what that is going to look like. And be honest, Karen, even as we were talking about that, it was almost quasi-depressing listening to all of the precautions we have to take place that pretty much goes so much against our own culture.
Okay. And I want to say this because I know you'd want me to tell you. I think you mentioned Karen. I think you're thinking about Karen Vaughn. Everybody calls, he's even called me Karen Vaughn. From the radio station. I did used to work with her, by the way. I do know Karen. So hi, Karen Vaughn. You're on this show. You don't even know it.
Hey, send Karen my love. I'm just used to it. I'm sorry.
So now everybody, even Karen Vaughn says, everybody thinks I'm Kelly Vaughn. And then when I'm Kelly Vaughn, everybody thinks I'm Karen Vaughn. I get it all the time. Okay. So if you guys know Karen Vaughn, give her a shout out. Let her know we're talking about her on the show today. So Pastor, what is the plan for the future? That when you do come back, do you know when you're going to come back? And when you do, will you handle things differently?
Well, I have to say this, Kelly, because the reality is we have to still pay attention to the data, So as much as we may say, yes, on this day, we're going to come back, if the numbers are not showing favor that it would be safe for our congregation, then, it just wouldn't be wise for us to continue. I've had numerous of colleagues who have set dates, and I'm telling you, they're probably on date number 12 right now because they'll set a date, numbers spike, it's just not safe, and so they have to put it off. And also for me, I can say that I've had our eyes on the fall of this year. Probably looking around time of September. So now the vacations are over and, those kind of things, people kind of getting in, settling in. And so we thought to kind of look into the fall of this year. But even with that, I say that from a standpoint of caution, because we do still have our eyes on the data, on the numbers, and we have a team of people who we gather together who shares that information to say if it's looking favorable or even if it's not.
Okay, so we just have a few seconds left, and I know you want to quickly mention you have parking lot services, Mother's Day, Father's Day.
Yeah, on Mother's Day, Father's Day, and on the 4th of July, we have an amazing parking lot service that we're going to have where we're seeking to baptize almost 100 people, and those who are willing to be baptized. So we're putting things in place, putting things in order. It's going to be in the parking lot of our church, right on 21st and German Church. So we'll be spread out, we'll be outside, and so hopefully and prayerfully, as we give God the glory that's due his name, we'll keep people safe at the same time as well.
Okay, well, we appreciate you coming on and letting us know what's going on in ministry and how they're dealing with the pandemic. Thanks so much, Dr. James Anthony Jackson, a senior pastor of New Beginnings Fellowship Church here in Indianapolis. Thanks for joining us.
Take care.
God bless you, brother. Thanks, Terrence.
God bless you, too. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about how COVID-19 affects the real estate market next.
During the COVID-19 emergency, community action agencies are open and here to ensure the well-being of families across the country. For over 50 years, we've been delivering life-changing services, solutions, and stability.
Contact your local community action agency serving Boone, Hamilton, Hendricks, and Marion counties For help during the COVID-19 emergency, we can assist with masks, hand sanitizers, food, shelter, transportation, and more. Apply today.
And we're back here on COVID-19 recovery, and we're going to talk about recovering from the pandemic in this housing market and what the situation is right now. And Terrence, are you a homeowner?
I am.
Okay, I am too. Any thoughts of buying or selling?
Well, I have been approached recently by a couple realtors because they say it's a seller's market, and so the opportunity is there. I personally am not considering it right now, but
You've been approached.
I've been approached by several people about it. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, here to tell us about that and why you're getting approached and what is this, a buyer's market, a seller's market? We have a very special guest joining us, Janice Bradley. She is a real estate consultant. She is also the one of the hosts of a show we have called the Home and Finance Show here on WHMB TV 40, as well as 1310 The Light on WTLC. We welcome you to the show, Janice.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. And how is the market for homes now as opposed to prior to the pandemic hitting?
All righty. I hope we have 2 hours.
Okay.
But if not, I'll just try to shorten it the best way I can. We have been in a seller's market probably for several years. And what that definitely means in a nutshell is that there are more buyers than there are sellers. But inventory has started to be lowering really within the last few years. So all of a sudden it's just, hey, here we are. What has COVID done to this market is unbelievable. You would think it goes the other way, but it has been a great market for real estate and for anything dealing with the economy, as far as whether it's appliances or whether it's lumber. It has been unbelievable. Realtors, this is our 4th year going into what we call a seller's market, to the point that there's probably 20 or 40 buyers for every single house, and let's say, depending on the price range. It's unbelievable. And the reason the gentleman is getting calls, because we all are, they're in our mailboxes and everything else, because we need homes on the market. That is basically it. We should understand one thing too. Now, the baby boomers have been pretty much staying in their homes and just saying, okay, I'm not going to do anything until if things are settled down. So, because normally in this kind of a turnover, your baby boomers are going to try to get into something smaller, downsize, something of this nature. Not saying that they haven't, but they are really hurting the market just simply because they're not putting their houses on the market. So, our buyers are really just coming out of the woodwork. Just think about it. When we were told to stay home, we stayed home. Okay, most of us stayed home. I'm just talking about, the buyers, the sellers, people in general. A lot of people started working from homes. And what does that mean when you're working from home? And you were used to going out. That meant you were using your dining room table, your kitchen table, the kids' table, or whatever for an office. They actually had no room to really do their work from home, working from home. So that really encouraged quite a few buyers to do that. When we're working with the buyers, first thing they'll do, they'll see the master room, whatever, but they'll say, okay, this has to be my office. And that has helped tremendously. Of course, the renters, okay, you've only got so much space, okay? When you're in, and you're staying home, you're not going anywhere. And people just said, I got to get out of here, And also they needed to be able to control their rent, because when you are renting, you're not controlling your the money going out simply because of what you are paying for rent, because rent goes up. So renters are starting to look at it more of an investment, simply because of the fact that, again, they can't control it. And they haven't been able to go anywhere. If you're in a 2-bedroom apartment, unless you live in other places, how tight it can really be. What we have found also is that those who have stayed home, who actually maybe owned a home or renting a home, they also needed to get away. What I meant by that, outside. A lot of people are really wanting to enjoy their outside living a lot more. So that's even caused a different kind of, I would say, just how people are kind of looking at it. Money, as far as money is concerned, a lot of buyers have decided to buy homes rather than to go on vacation because they weren't able to go on vacation. So they were able to go with a different kind of financing that is out, and or just they had money for down payment because they didn't go on vacation. In fact, I had a home, my own personal home on the market, and the people who bought mine just said, you know, we were going to go to Disneyland and stay for a week. Well, they were able to buy my house, and I loved them for that. Sorry they had to stay, couldn't visit Disney, but just kind of showing you exactly what we're talking about for that. Also, I mean, COVID has been, unfortunately, in one way, very good for the economy. With new construction, can I tell you, Kelly, that we're talking about there's waiting lists.
Wow.
Waiting lists for new construction. All right. Some of them can't even, I know of a couple of builders that have a waiting list of 40 to 50 people. I know of another builder that they can't even include appliances now. Everything is because what people are doing, if they're not buying a home, then they're remodeling. They are just doing anything and everything they want to make them feel good about having to stay in place for one way or another. So they're spending that money that way. So it just makes, it's just unbelievable how COVID has really helped the economy. Then, of course, you got to think about these rates. These rates are just they're history making. They're history making, and it's affordable. And you know, I was talking with Diana. We always have this conversation since we've been in the business so long that you know we were used to whether it was 150, 200,000 or whatever. You know, it took both incomes, you know, to do that. With these kind of rates, it doesn't take that. You know,
Wow.
it's one person, you know, doing pretty decent. They can actually go ahead and buy on one income, which I think is really great in case anything kind of happens.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this then, Janice, because I can remember the housing crash of 2008, and around that time and thereafter, or prior to that, you saw building signs, you know, builders everywhere. Building homes, and then everything crashed and it got really quiet, and then there seemed to be too many homes, like they had flooded the market. So how did we go from a flooded market to a shortage? Is there a housing shortage?
There's a housing shortage, and this is around the country. This is around the country, and this is also history. And like I said, actually, from my just reading over things and what have you. And the inventory has been coming down lower and lower, just every year that we've been noticing that. So right now it's just hit the fan. I mean, it's just hit the fan. We may have 2 or 3, like I said, 20 to 30 buyers trying to buy one particular home. Sometimes it's almost like a merry-go-round when we're getting ready to show a home, how many people are in and out. And you know,
Wow.
what's happened and what's happened with that, excuse me, is that it's just raising the price of the homes. You know, you could start off at 115. What did he say?
We heard that. We both own homes, so we want to know. I think that's what he's going to ask you. Go ahead.
Well, I was actually going to ask more so about you said that the inventory is shrinking and it's like 20 to 40 potential buyers per home. How does that affect competition for like your lower income families and first time home buyers?
Good question. Good question. There are a lot of programs that are out for first home buyers. We have Indiana Housing or Indiana Housing Development Authority that has a great program for FHA where they're giving them 6% down. And I'm not sure, again, of the income, but it's pretty good income. So it does kind of help those who still, even if you got making a decent budget, sometimes it's not like you really have all the down payment assistance, you know. But to your question also, there are a lot of banks around the city that actually have what they call their personal portfolios. That is to attract for the lower income, also to help them with no money down. Which is great. So portfolio means that they are keeping their particular loans, so they're not selling them out. So, that way they've done their due diligence to try to help exactly what you've asked for. What about the lower income?
Okay. Now, you mentioned that the prices of houses has gone up.
Yeah.
By how much? So if a person owns, say, a $300,000 home and it's been assessed at that, not necessarily via property taxes, but just that's what they think their home is worth. So what can they expect to get if they decided to sell it?
Well, let me just put it in perspective. Depending on a 300,000 or 250, we've been seeing it's all around the place. But we've been seeing if you're in that kind of a price range at 300 and it's listed for 300 or 310, that's the way kind of realtors are pricing their homes at that. Okay, I know this will sell, but if I price it just on that edge, this is how we get multiple offers. We're seeing homes selling for 15, 20,000. I haven't been into that 30,000 more. When you start listening in Google and what's happening around the country, and it's unbelievable how much more that they are asking over list price. Now, are they appraising? In a lot of cases, they are appraising. And why is that? It's simply because of the fact of the multiple offers. The multiple offers does increase the value of the home. So there are some situations that maybe they don't appraise out. But let's just kind of get back to a little bit of a basic so I can kind of compare, to Indianapolis, Indiana. But let's say we're talking about 150, and a $150,000 house is right around 900. So the reason I want you to kind of look at the big picture on this, how many people that are paying 900, 1,000, 1,200? Everybody is paying that much for rent, 9 times out of 10. Mm-hmm. So you've got this house that's listed for 150 or 149.9. Hey, you've got 20 to 30 buyers or more that are in that's their comfort zone. So that 9 or 1,000. But as we know, for each 1,000, it only affects your payment like $5, $5 or $6. So they know that they're going to have to offer more. Whether it's 5,000, whether it's 7,000, just depends. Because we realtors have to also do our homework and make sure that the homes are appraising. We'll appraise okay, but that's almost out of our hands now because they are appraising. So that's the thing that we have to prepare these new buyers for, because it's a lot of anxiety and it's a lot of just feeling really bad, and so are we as the realtors, just simply because there has been so much competition. We're writing offers so different. We're offering possibly as is, or just check. We're still maybe having the inspections, of course, but we're not asking. Gone are the days of even asking a seller for closing costs. Those purchase agreements have to be so clean, because all the seller's going to do is just look at their bottom line, which is definitely understandable. Mm-hmm. What kind of bothers me and kind of hurts my heart a little bit is the fact that there's also a lot of investors, and they're offering over list price because they can, because it's cash. Right. So your sellers are looking at that, and a lot of them are accepting that. Now, I kind of take issue to that a little bit. Mm-hmm. I need to stop.
No, yeah. You're good. No, because we're going to have you back. I can see that now. Because we've run out of time. And you know how that goes. She has her own show again, Home and Finance Show here on WHMB TV 40 is on Tuesdays at 9:30 a.m. on our station. So check her out, and Diana Rice Wilkerson. Will you come back? We'll do a part 2 on this.
I'm always here for you.
Okay, we appreciate you.
Nice meeting you, sir.
Nice meeting you.
Janice Bradley, thanks for joining us, and we thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Vaughn.
And I'm Terrence White.
And join us next time again on COVID-19 Recovery.